Welcome, welcome, welcome to Basic Ideas of Science of Mind with Barbara Waterhouse. What are we, September 2016 edition. And we begin everything in treatment, so take a deep breath. And let it out. And as you continue to breathe in and out, let go of everything from before. Let go of everything up until now. Let go of everything on the outside. Just focus within. And what we focus on is that we live in a universe of vibration and light and energy. And that we are connected with everything, everywhere, every when, everyone in that universe. That actually that creative force is what we are. We are beings of light. We are beings of love. We are spiritual beings. And so we open up to our awareness of that greater truth of us. That we are made out of God itself, and whatever God is, we are. That is the eternal truth of us. Health, prosperity, happiness, joy, love, light, peace, all of these things that never change. That is who and what we are. And so we affirm this truth, that our lives demonstrate those qualities of God. Peace, power, beauty, joy, love, light, wisdom, prosperity. Our lives manifest that every day in every way. And so claiming for each and every one of us the best life ever, I move into gratitude. Grateful for every moment, everything that we have, every experience that we share, and then I just turn it loose. I'm so grateful for this class and for our opportunity to remind ourselves and each other of who we are and why we are here. And knowing that it is a great class, we just let it go. As together we say,
and so it is.
Wonderful, wonderful. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Come on in. Who was not here last week? Okay, you guys have your handouts. What are you pointing at, Drew?
She wasn't here last week.
Were you? You were here? Here, Amanda. Who else was not here last week?
I have to get my glasses.
I thought you weren't here last week. That's why I didn't give you one.
Maybe I was.
Here you go.
I thought you were here last week.
May I have another one of these? Are we going to be talking about
Dan, were you able to get online?
No, that's a really long address. I might have missed a dot.
If you haven't signed into the David Gikandi book of the free PDF of the Happy Pocket Full of Money and the audio recordings and the 2 video webinars that he's given all of us, the cards are in the bookstore. We have gotten one report that it didn't work. So if someone gave the code away to some people, or if somehow we timed out, then it won't work, but maybe that was just one person's glitch. So if you want it, the reason I'm bringing it up is it expires at midnight on September 30th. So if you want it, get a card from the bookstore. We had 150 cards, and we still have some. So those like licenses should be still available. I'm downloading Microsoft Windows and Office and all of that. So I'm all about the licenses. So if you want that, grab one tonight and go ahead and download it into your computer. You can hear someone read the book, A Happy Pocket Full of Money. You can have the PDF if you want it, and there's a couple of webinars. And I've found him to be very generous in his website. Once you give him your email address, he will be contacting you almost daily. And he likes to give a lot of stuff away, and I think it's a really great opportunity. So if you want that, grab it now, because next week it won't be any good. Last week, we went over our hidden belief assignment, and we're going to continue that. I want to remind you why we are doing that. Well, better yet, you tell me, we talked about it for a long time last week. Why are we doing this? Why are we looking at subconscious, unconscious, hidden beliefs? To help get rid of them, exactly. Morgan,
Clean out.
clean out. Becca,
If we're gonna control our thoughts, we have to know what they are.
if we're gonna control our thoughts, we better know what they are.
Ooh, that was
And
scary.
have you ever just gone reactive? It's like trying to ride a stagecoach of wild horses to try to get your thoughts in. So if you can discover some of the triggers that are going to set you off, it would be really good for you to do a little work on that before things are totally out of control. Anna?
To find what is blocking us.
To find what is blocking you, yes. You may be coming to classes and doing treatments and affirmations and doing all kinds of things, let's say for prosperity, but you have a hidden belief that your people are always poor. My family is poor. Where I come from, we're poor. Or I'll never get that because I don't have the education, the background, the support, whatever it may be. And if you have a hidden belief like that, you can be doing, I, Barbara Toad, God is the source of all supply, money is God in action. All of that will help, but I really believe that getting in there and pulling out some of those really big beliefs can only help. Have you ever been in more than one relationship?
At the same time.
Well, I'm not
That was
ruling
my
out at the
question.
same time.
That was my question.
Speaking from my past. Did you notice similarities in the relationships? Yes, that's because there's some kind of a belief going on that of something that has an outpicturing in the relationship. So someone may be in one marriage and then marry someone almost identical to the first partner and recreate the same issues. And then if you go into therapy, they'll take it back to, let's say if you're a woman and you're in a relationship with a man, or a man in a relationship with a man, whatever, then chances are it'll go back to either your mother or your father. You'll have that same issue going on in those relationships. And just to fess up, my second husband was 25 years older than me. Do you think I had some daddy issues? I did. And that needed to be healed and cleaned up, and I needed to grow up, and then I could be in a really great relationship with John, who is younger than I am.
How many days?
By 8 days. Still, he's younger. So if we have some. What did you say? Well, I've got the looks, don't I?
Yeah,
So if we've got a hidden belief that says there's never enough, it's never going to happen, these kinds of things are just impossible, you bring up some loyalty ideas that say, I can't exceed my parents' level of standard of living. That's a big one. When a child begins to demonstrate a greater standard of living than what they grew up at, there are loyalty issues that come up, and they're often very unconscious. Now, if I'm a good child, if I love my parents, then I won't just leave them in the dust and blow them out of the water with my boats and, multiple houses and whatever that may be. And so you wonder, why are you sabotaging? You get almost up there and then things fall apart. Almost up there and things fall apart. When I was married to my first husband, we had a photo processing lab where we took rolls of film in the mail and turned them into pictures and mailed them back out. And we would almost get to where we were going to turn a profit, and he would sabotage it. He would give credit to someone that was outside of the country, who was doing school pictures. And as soon as they had the pictures and collected the money, they would pay the bill. Well, that never happened. That was actually the moment when I realized I had to get out of there because this was never going to work. But he would get to a level and then subconsciously, but with intent, sabotage that business so that it would never be flourishing. So we look at our lives and we see what are the reoccurring patterns that are going on in whatever area, and how are we setting ourselves up for that. If you're in the relationship with the same person 3, 4, 5 times in your life, only they have a different face and a different name, then you're the one picking them. So how am I setting myself up to not have this work? How am I doing something that is going to end up not the way I want it? Because I'm doing that. If that's going on in our lives, it's really a good idea to look at ourselves and see what's happening in our subconscious, what's happening in our subjective mind that we're holding on to as a belief and creating in our lives. So that's what these hidden beliefs are. Yeah, I know. Well, if they're hidden, you don't know what they are, and once you know what they are, they're not hidden anymore. Just humor me. They're beliefs that we are not always aware of, but when we bring them up and out, we can look at healing them. Is anybody else hot but me?
I'm getting a little warm.
Okay. We need the air warmer
exactly.
because you guys were so wet. So let's just crank it a little bit. So in the reading on the power of directed emotions, I think is where we are tonight. He talks about the creative process being like a seed and the soil and the harvest. And he talks about needing to get the rocks out of the dirt. Did you ever start a garden from scratch? You got to pull out roots and rocks and poison ivy. If you have a dog, maybe bones. You've got to get all of that stuff out of the soil and till it, and put organic material in it and fertilizer in it, and till it, before you can ever put a seed in there. And if you've ever grown root crops like carrots where they've hit a rock, you get some of the weirdest looking carrots that come out of the ground like that instead of a nice straight carrot because it's hit a rock. And so it didn't have the type of manifestation that you wanted. And these kinds of things are like the rocks in the fertile soil of mind as we choose to plant the seeds of our life and have the harvest of the best life ever. So what we want to do is take some time and look at ourselves. And those of you who have known me for a long time know that I don't do a lot of this. I'm a firm believer in turn away from the condition, focus on what you want. If it comes up, heal it, forgive, grow, let it go, and then watch your life change. But at times like this, we're going to look a little bit and say, wow, that's acting out just like my dad acted out. That's acting out just like my siblings did. And what is that? Because that's not really what I believe about myself. It could be things about gender, about being able to have certain things no matter what your gender is. And I know I'm coming in at the tail end of the feminist movement, but it's not that long ago that people come into the office, salesmen, and want to know if the pastor is in. And I obviously can't be anyone other than a secretary, not that there's anything wrong with secretaries, because of my gender. When we built here, the frustration was immense because I would ask the contractors a question and they would tell me not to worry about it. And I would tell them I was the one signing their checks.
Yes.
But it was a gender issue. And then someone would walk in, be clear, someone would walk in that was male, and all of a sudden the conversation would shift and details were forthcoming and things like that. So there had to be a belief in me that women were not as important as men. Otherwise, I wouldn't have demonstrated that in my life. And so part of noticing that hidden belief that we've got is being willing to acknowledge it and not say, oh, those, redneck contractors just, they don't understand or what. No, that was me. That was all me. Every relationship that I picked that had me feeling less than was all me. I picked those people. Good God, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. Almost half of them are men. And I picked ones that would have me feel the same way. So, what are we repeating? What do we go on automatic on? How are we self-sabotaging our creations? And how are we feeling that we felt the same way before? That's one of the questions that I ask a lot when someone comes up to my office. Blah, 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 blah. How does that feel? Blah, 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 blah. When have you felt that way before? Boom! I felt that way all my life. Well, then it has nothing to do with this moment and this experience. It has to do with what you've been carrying your whole life and what you've been creating. And I believe that we create things to get them up and out and to heal them. So if something's coming up, bless it. Know that you are creating your reality, that nobody has ever done anything to you, that no one can hurt you, no one can take anything away from you, and no one can give you anything. It is all you. So it's time to step up, to forgive, to release, to claim your power, and to move on. And for those, I'm always grateful for things that come up. But sometimes these things come up and they're so familiar and they're so commonplace in our consciousness that we don't even notice that this doesn't need to be, or that this is off, or something like that. How about the idea that you have to work really hard to get ahead? Or you have to pay your dues, that kind of thing. Those things that can be so ingrained in us that we don't notice them. So the reason that I'm taking 2 weeks to go over this hidden belief exercise, as well as to say that we are manifesting amazing lives, and if there is something in between us and our desire, let's dig it up, look at it, let it go, and get it out of the way so that we can move forward. Okay?
Okay.
So those of you who were here last week, you took your papers home with you. Did you go over them? Good, good, good. So, Anna, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did my homework.
Yay, Anna.
So I get up 3 o'clock in the morning and I was walking and I can't sleep. Then around 4:30, so I started to see the pages. And then by the 4th question, I started to feel something inside of me. And then the next page, you asked about, can I take this?
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, some other beliefs I discovered during the exercise are, so I ended crying for 1 hour.
Good.
And then, thank you, and then I find out then I need to work with love myself.
You have to work on loving yourself, yes.
That's all.
Good, good. It's so fascinating in the chapter.
And then, the next day, I feel like free.
Yes, yes, good.
It was, for me, it was like a mystic experience. It
Wonderful.
was something very profound.
Yes.
Between 3 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock.
That's the shaman's hour.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It was something like I don't know, it's so nice.
Catharsis. Good, good.
Help me a lot. Thank you.
Good, 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 good work. It was interesting in the chapter, he says, one of the most important things for creating your life is just get rid of any inferiority complex. Just get rid of it, just like that. Oh, and if you've got a superiority complex, that's just as bad. Did you ever hear that, Drew?
Yeah, I did most of that one. But, it's like she was saying, those, limiting beliefs that were put there, like, you know, little Billy pushed you down in 4th grade and said something that stuck in you. It's like, I had a lot of stuff come up like that, and like, look at it like, how is that relevant to my life at this point in time? Oh, it is, because I still kind of believe what he said. Oh.
Right,
And that whole clearing away so you can receive more, that's pretty impressively powerful. Because you start cutting those lines, the stuff you're dragging around, it's just like a, you know, football player or whatever, holding the weights, and then finally you let them go and you can sprint.
right.
It's just, oh wow, powerful.
Some of the things that we still believe and hold on to about ourselves are ridiculous.
Yeah.
And until we bring them into the light of day, we don't know that. We don't get it. We keep acting out in certain ways that has us not have what we want to have, and then we pull out those beliefs and go, my God, a 9-year-old kid made that decision in life. And I'm still running my life on that. That's crazy. And so there's a sprinting, a catharsis. There's a release of energy that you have when you bring this stuff up and go, oh gee, that's been running me all this time, and let it go, and then there's a feeling of empowerment and uplifting. And that translates to the creative process where you are then boosting that which you're creating. Because if you create with, yeah, why do you think in the prosperity class I have you jumping up and down to get the energy moving? So if you're creating with that level of energy, you're creating with a stronger impulse that the universe is going to respond to. So let's look at these. How many people were not here last week? Okay, we're going to go ahead and go start at the beginning. So just figure you're in group therapy, it's okay. Some of the beliefs from childhood that are still functioning are what?
God is punishing me because I am bad.
God is punishing me because I am bad. Susan?
Daddy's punishing me because I'm bad.
Daddy is punishing me because I'm bad.
And not talking to me, just abandoning me, never
I am
talking to me.
abandoned because I am bad. I am in pain because I am bad.
Yeah, it's not bad as much as saying out loud what I believe, which I was told was bad. But there was another one that was just floating around my head, is that girls should never show or act as if they are stronger or smarter than boys.
Right.
I was told that.
Pull back,
Pull back.
pull back, let the boy
Put a
go.
bushel over your life.
Right, right. My 2 brothers were sent to college. My sister and I dropped out of high school.
Yeah.
And that was really okay with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Betty?
Just as we were talking before, I had an aha moment. And it was, I just realized why I've been having difficulty losing weight. Because when I was a little girl, I grew very tall, very fast, and the neighborhood kids used to tease me that I was a beanpole. I was too skinny. So I think that's one of the things that's holding me down.
You don't want to be teased about being skinny.
Yeah. Well, it's just the hurt.
Yeah,
The hurt.
yeah. Jane?
Everything I do is wrong.
Everything I do is wrong. I'm bad, I'm wrong.
Yep.
How do you get to have the best life ever if you're bad or wrong? And how do you reconcile, I'm a powerful, creative, spiritual being alive and well on planet Earth?
And all you are is wrong.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look at and to work on yourself in a very loving way to show yourself that you're not bad and you're not wrong. How does that feel, Terry?
That I'm wrong.
That you're not wrong, that you're not bad.
Oh, well, that feels pretty good.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That you're
But
perfect, that's
I have a hard time believing that sometimes.
right, and that's why we want to look at it. We want to bring it up and do something with it. We don't just want to go out into the field and find a big boulder and go, well, is that what keeps breaking the plow? It's a big boulder. Well, okay, well, we found the boulder. That doesn't do anything. What we need to do is dig it up and get it out so that we're not broken every time we go down that row. My analogies are just flowing tonight.
I painted a good picture.
So Susan, how does that feel to you that you're not wrong for being stronger than the boys?
It's really exciting. I still find, and I don't believe I take it for granted ever, that I can just say what I want. It's just like such a kick to me. I mean, I just amaze myself every time I do it.
Mhm.
I really do.
And you get a rush of
I
energy.
absolutely do. And I love myself so much at that time,
Right.
at those times. I really
Good,
do.
good,
Yeah.
good. Sometimes when we're creating our experience, we'll hold back because we don't think we should have it all. Because we think that we should be being punished or something like that. So in that creative process, we'll pull back and, I could have had a V8, I could have had a great life, and instead, well, we're getting by and we're doing okay and things are better, but we could really go for it if we didn't have those emotional blocks inside of us. How about the guys? What'd you pick up from childhood?
Not doing it good enough.
You're not doing it good enough. Right. Troy?
My childhood was just the opposite. I was put on a pedestal, and I was the golden child.
It's a lot of pressure.
And I was the oldest, and it really was great for a while. I mean, it's nice to be the little prince. But there comes a time when you have to,
Aye.
join the stream and swim with the other fish, and nobody respects that. Now you gotta come up with your own,
Aye.
yeah, you gotta come up.
Aye. Thank you.
I had to, I won't say, it wasn't cooperation, but it was. But I felt it was a competition where I always had to dedicate myself to being the best. So I became rather one-minded at whatever I was doing.
Right, you had to always win. Not understanding that you came into this world as a winner. Yeah.
And later in life, the real world, whatever that means, kind of destroyed, and it devastated me. So then you have to learn. It's a good thing, but you do have to pick yourself up and.
I.
I-
See, that's a technique of wanting to create psychological distance. That you're not really talking about yourself, you're talking about some other.
Yeah, so I had to literally rebuild, and I'm okay with the result, but no matter which side you're coming from, being put down and trying to find yourself, or we all hit the place where we run into that fence, and all of us have to find ourselves eventually.
That was a good compromise, going from you to we. It's true. It's about accepting ourselves the way that we are. And that's what Anna was saying, that's what she got, and she cried for an hour and had this amazing mystical experience. That's what we did in this thing called you. When I would turn the lights out and read to you these amazing affirmations of who you are, who I am, and if we can do what Ernest Holmes says, which is, the really important thing is not to have an inferiority complex. If we can heal that and allow ourselves to really feel loved and supported supported and uplifted by life, then that's a big step in unleashing massive amounts of creative energy. So I encourage us to do that. Any other, Drew?
Yeah, this is a hard one for me. I was left alone so much. I had the belief that I wasn't worthy of anything, love, attention, food. And that I was completely alone in the universe.
And have you created that in your life? Do you push people away? Have you in the past?
And over.
Over and over and over. So if you can move into a healing mode with that not only are you not alone, but that you are connected with everyone and everything and everywhere, not only are you not loved, but that you are the love of spirit as you, then letting go of that opens up all of this creative energy. You know, you can do some internal processes of going and getting that child that was left alone, Bradshaw championing the inner child kind of thing.
I know now that I don't care if I'm clinging to a life raft in the middle of the ocean, I'm never alone.
Yay.
I am always loved, I am always safe.
So,
I am worthy of anything my heart desires.
so be aware, if you start pushing people away, that somehow you have triggered off that old lie. It is just a lie,
It was just something that was made up in a little kid's mind.
right? Right, because psychologically, in order for children to survive, they will blame themselves always instead of the parent. That's why a child can be beaten to a pulp, put in the hospital, and they will run to the parent that just beat them.
Yeah.
Because psychologically, they can't handle that they're not safe with the people that they live with. They just, you can't do it until you're a certain age. Then you just get really mad. Susan?
I was told two things with equal strength. I felt like a ping pong ball. One of them was when I was attempting to be individual. Why can't you just be like everybody else? In other words, you're so difficult. Why can't you just? And then when it worked in the opposite way, it was, why can't you be like everyone else? Why do you have to do what everybody else does? Why can't you be an individual?
Right, so like Michael, it's never right. It's never right. And so where have you gone with that? Are you able to just trust yourself?
More and more and more and more. More and more. Yes.
Good.
I still seek validation, but not to that degree. I think I've confirmed it in me, and I feel the confidence and the peace within me, and actually a happiness within me about what I've done or what I want to do. But then I like to get that validation and the perspective also.
And that's fine, as long as it's not a should. Remember, the 11th commandment is thou shalt not should on thyself. Betty?
I have a really interesting perspective that I've learned later in my life, and that was I came from a family of 5 children, and my parents' way to deal with them is they never individualized us. They always grouped us together, and they never gave us praise. They never told us we were exceptional or good. So basically, 2 things happened. First of all, I became an overachiever to try to get attention, which I never got. But the main thing that I did is because my parents never said that I was good or that I did good, I created in my mind this critical parent. It was almost like, everything I did, well, I'm not good enough. And it wasn't because they said I was not good enough. It's because I imagined it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I grew up with the whole barrage about not being good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And when I finally realized that was a made-up person, my parents never told me I wasn't good enough. They just never told me that I was good.
Mm-hmm.
It was astonishing awakening to realize it.
And a release. A release. Carrying around all this stuff is exhausting. So let's move on. Beliefs about careers. we went over these last week, but I just wanna bring the people in who were not here last week up to speed a little bit. Yes, Morgan,
I'm not appreciated.
I'm not appreciated at work. And have you shifted that? Or are you still not appreciated at work?
I'm working on shifting it,
How?
basically by being cheerful and not by loving, for instance, when you're in the kitchen, love what you do, so I'm loving what I do. And I don't wanna care about what other people, whether they appreciate me or not, it's all about, I enjoy what I do.
Good, and give yourself a pat on the back. Wow, I just did this great job. Put it out there. If you put it out there, it'll come back to you. And chances are it'll come back out of the mouth of someone else. So this was great, I just really did this well. Yeah. Who else? Careers. Terry.
In my family, it was just the opposite of what yours was. The girls were encouraged to go to college. In fact, we had to go to college. We did not have a choice in it, and we had to become teachers. And that my father's, and this was my father's dictate, his whole thought was, if we didn't find a man to take care of us, then we would have a career to fall back on.
Right.
And, but then, when we did find, when we did get married, our primary job was a wife, mother, and housekeeper.
Right.
I mean, that was, and so the whole thing of going to college kind of flew out the window.
Right.
And although my sisters did become teachers, and I tried, I didn't like it. And I became a nurse when I was in my 50s. And my career was never important. I mean, having a career was not something that was important.
Right.
That's what I was always told.
Well, and every woman of that era was told that your sole purpose was to find a man, get married, have a bunch of kids, and take care of them.
Well, be taken care of.
Be taken care of, but also take care of the family. How about relationships? Drew's gasping over there. Hidden beliefs about relationships. Think about the relationships that you've been in that are similar. And maybe you even take that relationship into work, where you create a coworker or a boss or a person that works for you that acts out that same relationship that you may have had with a spouse or a parent or a sibling or something like that. And really, you're just doing the same relationship over and over in different venues with different people, but it's the same relationship. Who has noticed that? So what is the belief?
That all men are unavailable.
Wonderful.
That emotionally unavailable and know-it-alls. And
So-
alcoholics or drug addicts or.
So the ones you pick are drug addicts, alcoholics, know-it-all, emotionally unavailable people. But it's always them.
Yeah.
And it's every man on the planet.
They're called
What-
engineers.
One thing that,
And that.
one thing that you can notice is when you use the word never or all, you are making sweeping generalities. And when you're making sweeping generalities, they call that generalizing from specifics. So something happens and you make it the whole world. And then in metaphysics, what we know is that by believing that, we create that as our whole world. So that the people that you attract in your world are like that, or you take a perfectly good person and turn them into a drug addict, alcoholic, emotionally unavailable, know-it-all, and that is who they are to you. What fascinated me in this teaching is that one person can be one way to me and be completely different to someone else. The first time that really came home was when I saw my first husband married to his second wife. And I looked and went, who is that person? Who is that person? He is not the person that I was married to, but I'm not, I wasn't his second wife. You know, she is the one that had him be to her a different way through her own much greater self-worth than I did, and boundaries and things like that. And so he was that way with her, but not to me. So think about the people in your life and how you can see similarities in them, and whether or not you use all or none or never or always. Those are flag words. That means that you're probably exaggerating in your own head. And when you can catch yourself doing that, if you want to have the door of creation cracked open a little bit so that you can have a relationship with someone who's not that way, you have to stop claiming it as the only experience in the world, because then that's the only kind of a relationship you'll be able to have. But not until we notice it can we start to dig the boulder out of the field so that we don't trip over it every time we go out there. What else about relationships? Morgan.
So, I never felt a part of my family like most people do.
That's because you're from Pleiades.
Okay.
You're from what?
And
Pleiades.
Pleiades. I was always
It's a
seeking
star.
out other families to be like adopted into. I still haven't worked that one out.
Well, isn't it wonderful that other families wanted you?
Yes.
You know, you're so wonderful that many families are wanting to claim you as their own.
So why can't I accept my own family trying to claim me as my own?
Well, I would look at your life today. How are you being claimed in love in your life today? Don't try to go back in time and change what happened, because maybe they were just really neurotic and you didn't fit, because you're this lovely little fairy of light and love and joy. And how many people didn't fit in their biological family? Look around the room.
I was hoping I was adopted, or they made a mistake at the hospital.
Me too.
When I was 4 years old, I would literally go up to strangers and say, I am a princess, please help me find my right family. I was 4 years old, and I would just go up to people and say, please help me find my family. And my parents would be standing right there, and I'm a princess, please help me. So maybe you don't need to make peace with your biological family, maybe they gave you a blessing that you aren't like them, and like Susan, to accept your uniqueness, and to look at how many people do love you. Yeah.
Family doesn't have to be biological.
No.
Look around you.
Sarah.
Mine was that relationships are hard, that they take a lot of work and are never easy. That's the old belief.
So how is your...
I don't know if that shit kind of feels true.
I agree, and what I've noticed is that when relationships take a lot of work and they're hard, it's because I am not comfortable just being me. I'm handling John because I want things to go a certain way, and you've probably seen me do it, and that's very manipulative and controlling. And I'm not able to just relax and be me when he's, bouncing off the walls about something. A better me would be to realize the difference between him and me, and to let him have his experience and for it not to affect me. So, yes, the outside is always justifying our belief that relationships are hard and they take a lot of work and they're very time consuming, relationships just don't happen. So you've got that manifestation, but I think that the healing might be that you're fine, that you just being you is good enough with Eddie no matter what.
Oh yeah, and things are. That was something that my parents had that I recognized.
That you were acting out.
In the past, yeah,
Yes.
that I had to shift,
Yes.
because that's what they shared with me, and they were always going to therapy and workshops, and it was like, 30 years of showing up as this marriage is really, really hard. So that was what I was shown.
Great. And how many people have had that experience, that relationships are hard? That they take a lot of work, they take a lot of energy. Interesting, Darcy, because you want one.
I know, I was just thinking the same thing.
So you may want to make peace with that there is someone on this big blue ball that is just perfect for you if you are just okay being you. And that it just doesn't matter. There's somebody for you too, Jane. Michael.
I have exactly the opposite. You see, I always think everything's gonna be easy. I'm like, man, no problem. Right, we'll take care of this. And then it turned out being hard. And it's like, but that's not really my belief. My belief was that this is gonna be a breeze. Why are you throwing a wrench in my thing over here? And I'm like, man.
Well, I would submit that if the demonstration is that it's hard, your hidden belief is that it's hard. That life is hard, or you never do it right, you're not good enough. That even though it should be easy, you're gonna screw it up and make it hard. So
Everybody
dig a
else
little.
does it.
Pardon me?
I really have the feeling that I'm making it easy and everybody else is making it hard on me.
Well, so look at the deeper belief that other people make your life hard. Where'd you get that?
New York.
New York. So I have these shirts that say I live in a friendly world, and you may want to consider the idea that people around you are supporting you and helping you instead of throwing wrenches in things and making it difficult. Because you seem to be okay inside of your own head. Hey, this is going to be easy, it's all going to go together just great, and then somebody else shows up and it gets difficult. So look at that, what you've got about how do you feel about people?
Well, that's why I work alone. I mean, it's nice and quiet in my little world. It's like, right?
No, it's not when you work as loud as you play the music.
So Michael, start looking in your life for people that make it easy and support you. Just notice them. You know, the whole gratitude thing, what you focus on grows in your life. Okay? So that you can have help. Having the right help is wonderful. But you can't let that in if you believe that everybody in the world is out to make your life hard. So just check that out. And also kind of look and see where you picked that up. I mean, New York was funny, but I think maybe you picked that up from somebody.
Leave it in New York.
Well, yeah, that would kind of be.
You didn't pick it up from New York.
That would be your father, exactly. So do you want to be your father?
No,
Yeah, yeah. So let that go. You don't have to live your father's life.
I haven't, and that's another thing I'm being made wrong for. Right?
Yeah.
Because I don't have a real job and all that, you know, it's like, how are we gonna, it seems to go from
Who's
there.
making you wrong?
Well, him mostly.
Is he still on the planet?
Mhm.
Okay, okay. Yeah, you got some wonderful healing opportunities with your dad now. How about beliefs about our body, your body and health? Beliefs about the body. Betty.
Well, one of the main beliefs that I've been struggling with is you have to starve yourself and exercise like crazy in order to be in good shape and to be your ideal.
I.
So I've been struggling with that.
So is that the truth? That you, Betty, have to starve yourself and exercise like crazy to lose weight or to be at an ideal weight?
Is that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't found it to be untrue at this point.
Okay, good, good, that shows how deeply embedded that is. What other types of viewpoints about that could you have?
What other, I mean, as far as the opposite or more healthy?
Well, let me be more leading in the question.
Go ahead, lead me.
Perhaps you could look at the whole idea that you're not at your ideal weight.
Mhm.
Two things you brought up have to do with weight. And perhaps your body is perfect just the way it is.
I try to tell myself that it doesn't.
Well, that's because you have a belief that says it's not true. So since you are at choice with your thoughts, would you rather have a belief that says I've got to starve myself and exercise like crazy to be at my ideal weight, and then I'm just going to be a skinny rail, what did you call yourself?
Beanpole.
A beanpole, and people will mock me. You're in a lose-lose thing here.
Oh, that's why I'm stuck.
But what about a whole different way to see it of my body is perfect just the way that it is. I am beautiful at this weight. This must be my ideal weight because this is where my body goes. And perhaps to take a deep breath and be okay with yourself. Do you know the healing presence that brings into your body when you stop fighting it? When you can look, remember my instructions from a couple of weeks ago, full-length mirror when you get out of the shower so that you are buck naked. I love my body. I love my body. I love my body. There are many people on the planet that would give anything to have our bodies. I love my body. My body's perfect. My body's wonderful. If my body wants to be lighter, it'll just get lighter all by itself. And if it's not, it doesn't want it. I'm great. And just feel how that feels. How does that feel right now? Scary. Yeah, good to know. Good to know. So if I were you, I would start talking to my body and telling it that it's beautiful and healthy and perfect and wonderful, and stop criticizing it and trying to change it and fight with it, and just relax into your body and see if you don't feel an emergence of energy. Well, how can you have any energy when you're in the middle of a battle? Right? Linda?
If you want to look at the ideal body thing intellectually, the doctors have not decided yet. They had a thing where, 92-year-old people were supposed to weigh 67 pounds if they were 5 feet tall. And how many people can do that? And that's because you're not considering bone structure and the way your body metabolizes and everything. So ideal is not, doesn't exist.
Right, and doctors don't know.
No.
There's a general bias against weight. And there are plenty of people who are big, who are very, very healthy. And they get to eat all of this great food. Drew.
In 6th grade, I was this cute, tiny little boy.
You still are.
But I got chunky over the summer. And by school again, I was 6 foot. I grew so fast. By the end of the year, I was almost 6'2". So I was a giant. Okay, shoulder. So I'm like, I'm a grown man now, but I'm a little kid inside. But I never fit, even in the military, on any body mass index, because it's all garbage. Oh, they take the little pinchers and they do the thing, and there's no set, unless you want to look at Barbie and Ken, and that's just plastic. It's just somebody's made up definition.
I am a big proponent of loving yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself pats on the back. Tell your body that you love it, that it's healthy, that it's doing a great job. And watch how your body shifts. It may not look any different, but you'll feel better. B.
I started doing that after you mentioned it in class, and I would lie in bed and start with my feet. And next thing I knew, I was giggling. I was giggling so hard. And it's really, really, it's terrific.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a sense of fun and joy and appreciation. And I think I'm feeling it.
Good, 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 good. Jane?
Just to say that it's never too late. Here I am at 77, and when I was a kid, my father messed up my shoulder, and now I got 3 dead nerves in my arm. But the thing of it is that I've always swam, and I started swimming, and because the doctors were saying, oh, you won't be able to use your arm, it's just all paralyzed and this. But anyway, I've been swimming, and I get more pleasure out of standing up straight, because when I was a little kid, I was just kind of weird looking, because I had been kind of crippled a little bit this way and that way. And I just wanted to say that it's just never too late, and I am thrilled.
Good for you, Jane.
Good for you,
Jane.
Yeah,
Good for you.
Foster.
So even if you have a belief about your body that you've had for decades, and even if people in authority are telling you that you can't do it, you can go and swim. You can do what you want to do, and your body will rally. You do that. Your body will rally.
Yeah, I'm thrilled, because I was so unhygienic for so long, and in spite of that, I was always athletic too. But I just look kind of weird. So I think I'm looking less weird.
Donna, do you have any beliefs about the body? Have you seen people's bodies do amazing transformations?
Oh, yeah.
You're a doctor. And so to put words in your mouth, because you're a naturopathic doctor, do you find that when you can give the body what it needs, it heals and flourishes?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh.
When it's properly supported and nourished, mentally, emotionally, physically.
So the mental and the emotional part of that, would that be not criticizing your body, not feeling bad about your body, embracing your body? I mean, Ernest used to have people hug themselves and go, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful me. That was part of his thing, and they called him happy.
Well, I was just thinking as I was listening to the conversations that I need to incorporate that more into my sessions, just the speaking about the self-love.
Could you imagine what our lives would be if we really just let ourselves off the hook on everything and just loved ourselves? And just hooked up with that amazing love of the universe. Do you imagine what would happen to us? Because we are so amazingly creative. Were you through, Donna?
Yes.
So Judith and then Susan.
I was gonna say, when I moved here, I weighed 60-something pounds more than I do now. And over the year of just coming here and changing my mindset, I had nothing to do with anything else. I lost 60-something pounds. And now I'm back to the weight I was before high school. So it is all about that mindset.
Right, and with the idea that if you do put on weight, that it may be to protect yourself, which is what some people do.
Exactly.
Then when you feel safe, you don't need it anymore. It doesn't
Exactly.
have to be this big thing, it just goes away.
Exactly.
And let's not have a bias against people's
Right.
weight. I don't know how many of you were around when John was big.
Oh, he was fun.
But making people wrong for how their bodies are doesn't do any good. It's all about love and being happy and creating our lives, and then everything, the body, the money, the job, the relationships, all of that come into alignment with the love. If we're making ourselves wrong and feeling bad and like we need to be punished, then we're going to bring people and experiences into our lives that will act that out. Susan?
In my own life, but also for many, many, many years, an eating disorders therapist. So feeling fat is a great question that I had to ask myself over and over, and then I brought it up in workshops, etc. If I weren't feeling fat, what would I really be feeling?
Right.
Scared, stupid, weak, vulnerable, in danger, etc., etc. Me in my life, so there was always something that kept me safe, separate and safe about my body and what my body looked like. But now, it's very sneaky, but I'm on it because I'm cool with my body, but now it could be an age thing. You know, my body is aging, I'm aging, and I could use that just the way I use the other things that I found imperfect, not okay, despicable at times about my body.
So that you didn't have to feel your feelings.
I didn't have to, no, because I felt fat, and that took up the whole
Mm-hmm.
bubble of my life. You know, that would take up everything.
Well, people
But
use
in our-
anger for that. It takes up their whole life, so they don't have to
Absolutely.
feel anything.
Absolutely, but with a lot of, I would say women, but it's not only women, women mostly. But it's a great safety measure, but there's so many other better ones that work better.
Right, and you're not safe. You
You're
just
not
avoid
safe.
it.
You're not safe.
Right. So check yourself out. What do you use to take up the space in your life? What we want to use is joy and love and happiness and creativity and energy and all of that, and fill our lives up so full with that there's not any room for anything else. But most people on the planet are not using those particular things. They're using something else. So check yourself out and see if you're using something to fill your life up under the guise of safety, but it does not keep you safe, because unless you're being a powerful, creative, spiritual being, you're not safe. So check yourself out on that, and we're going to take a break. Some other beliefs I discovered during this exercise are how hard you are on yourself, how unnecessarily brutal you are on this wonderful being called you. Sandy.
How far I've come.
How far you've come, hallelujah.
Still work, but how far I've come.
Troy.
Well, all the questions that I'm seeing, with the exception of the first question, are in the present, in the present tense, in the present here and now. But when we're answering the questions, we're taking all the baggage from the past and reverting. And
Right, the belief is in the present moment, the cause of the belief is in the past, and we are taking that and creating it. And last week we did the thing of fact and truth. So the belief is an old fact that somebody called you a bean pole. And we took that, subjectified it, built our life around that, and that's our creation. So we want to look at that and go, that may have been a fact, but it is not the truth of me. I am a wonderful being of light and love. I am God's own, and then create from there.
well, many of us at this point in our lives, the reason that we came here is either because we already knew who we were and we wanted to be with other like people, or else we had the feeling that we needed to find out who we were, and we came here and then go through the process. So a lot of this stuff is really baggage, and just jettison it and acknowledge it. But once you know God dwells within and there's no separation, you got nowhere to go. You're it.
That is the first two steps of treatment. That spirit is all that there is, and that is what I am, is better than any therapy in the world. You're right, because that will fill you with a sense of connection and love, and these other things don't have any room to be in your psyche. Yeah. The idea of jettisoning it sounds really good because it's quick, but it's not always that easy for people to do that. Good. Thank you, Troy. Who else?
I have something. ties in with that. I've always had a problem with this. So to even be sitting here now is a blessing, because I came into this practice, 10 years ago. So I live in the now, and I know that, for me, that studying, science of mind and the principles, this is what I live by. And I practice those on a day-to-day basis. So anything that would be those hidden beliefs, anything from my past that might be an irritant, that's over with. So every day I live my life as beautifully, knowing that I am perfect, I am the best, I am worthy, I'm loved, I'm positive, I'm living in the now. And so there isn't any of that stuff. There's just not any of that stuff.
Right,
I don't
10
allow
years of
that-
monitoring your
Yeah.
thoughts and feelings,
Yeah.
that took all the boulders out of your field.
Really, it didn't take 10 years. It took, as I was studying it, and I decided from day one that I am loved. Once I realized that I am loved, God, it's all God. It didn't take, I didn't need any of that little stuff. Yes, I can do this. As I was filling this out, I just wrote it. I mean, my copies at home. All the things that I feel about, beliefs about my body now. Sure, if I wanted to dig back and think, yeah, I remember when somebody called me fatty. What's the point? What's the point?
Well,
But I understand people who are learning and trying to get rid of this stuff is important. But once you do, release it and then
Sure.
move on and then accept yourself as this beautiful, wonderful, loving person, and then you don't ever even have to think about that anymore.
Once you get that of who you are, it changes everything.
Oh, I know, I love it. It's
Changes
just so
everything.
beautiful. And no matter, I mean, some people have a lot more stuff probably than I ever did. But it's just such a neat feeling, because then you know that you never have to go back to any of that. And if it bubbles up, just no, go away, cancel, it's not there, because I'm not there anymore. This is now, and this is good, and this is God, and this is love, and it's all beautiful. So yes, there's no denying it was there.
Right,
That's
going from the
bad.
fact to the truth. You're an example of where you get to when you are knowing your connection and knowing who you are.
And the choice, like you said, is to be in the now,
Right.
right here, right now, in love.
Right.
And that's what we want, to be worthy and to know who you are now. And so, just when it's there, just
Exactly.
scram.
Thank you. We're jettisoning, we're canceling, we're scramming. You can use all of these techniques. What are your beliefs about love? Anna?
Yeah, love, for me now, love is everything. And love is power, and love is be unconditional. I don't try, I practice every day. I'm not perfect, but
I don't try, I practice every day. And you're right, love is power. Love is power. So we're getting into the really weird part of the year where it's not cold enough for heat, but it's evidently not hot enough for air. So everybody's all bundled up. What are your beliefs about love? Joe?
Find.
Pardon me?
It's hard to find.
Hard to find.
I go on dates periodically and stuff, and I notice that, I can attract beautiful women, and then there's something that cuts it off. And I noticed I caught myself saying that. They'll say, well, why are you single? I just feel like true love's hard to find, and then I go off and I justify it.
Do you believe that there is someone for you?
Absolutely.
Call them in. Call them in. I called John in from Australia. He was in Miami in 2 weeks. My phrase was, if you're out there, you better find me, and you better find me quick. And he walked into my office 2 weeks later.
That'd be nice.
Call them in. You don't have to use those words. I
Oh,
would,
command who's, yeah.
I would, do something maybe a little nicer.
Oh.
Jane?
I just want to say I really like love a whole lot.
Good.
And when I said, I hate to keep talking about my childhood, but it was the most feared and negative kind of thing.
You went through some craziness, and you came out the other end.
I came out the
Yeah.
other end, but it's, if you love everybody, then it's just so much easier on you and then on everybody else too.
I
No
am
discernment needed, you just love
remembering
everybody.
just a few weeks ago, someone who looked like you, talking about how much they liked to get angry with their cat.
That's right.
And here you are saying, if you can just love everyone, then really,
It's much easier.
it's much easier.
And when
I
I,
think we've had a healing.
that's true, when I love Tipper, he is really pretty nifty.
It's your choice, whether you get the nifty cat or the cat from hell, it's all about you.
I've done 180-degree
I love this teaching because it does not matter where you have come from. And you have come from some pretty dark places. It doesn't matter where you come from. Everybody's got the same chance. Everybody's got the same ability to have their lives work and be happy and be in their joy and feel connected and feel love and to jettison and to cancel and to do all of these things to have the life that we are meant to have. Darcy.
I was just gonna say, as difficult as it is sometimes to deal with the challenges that come up, I wouldn't trade anything that happened to me when I was younger, because it's brought me to a really beautiful place in life, and you know, I'm for the most part, I'm really, really happy with who I am and what I do, but every once in a while, those little doubts and fears seem to creep in. Usually when I'm tired or low on energy or something, that those things creep in a little easier.
Right. I find that the voices take hold in the middle of the night more than they do in the light of day. I sleep now without John in my bed. I keep other things there. And one of the things that I've got in bed with me is the book, This Thing Called You. And if I awaken in the middle of the night and really can't go back to sleep, I'll just turn the lights on and read and meditate, do a little laundry, you know, stuff like that. But I'll read This Thing Called You because that is so comforting to me. Good for you. It's about going from the fact, which is something that we want to change. We're talking about facts that we want to change. The fact that is the lie, and change it to the truth. So we go from, there's something wrong with me, I need to be punished, to there is everything right with me. And I am celebrated and uplifted by the universe, that kind of thing. And just work it and do it and practice it and have it happen and watch how your life changes. You will release creative energy within you that can just manifest just like that because you're clear instead of dragging around a bunch of old baggage and confusion and upset, those kinds of things. You're clearing. You know, the whole Scientology thing is all about being clear. Scientology is not a dirty word. Oh, you can't say that. Yes, you can. So it's all about clearing energy. A lot of the Native American teachings were all about clearing energy.
Yeah.
And handling things and keeping your word and being clear and knowing who you are, knowing where you are. I remember I was the altar keeper for Rocking Bear's Thursday Night Circle for years, and you couldn't wear your shoes in the house. And as I would go into the room that had all of the altar pieces, he always had a set mouse trap in the doorway. It didn't have any food on it. It wasn't set for a mouse. It was set for me. For me to be mindful as I go into his altar room of where my body was. And a set mouse trap in the middle of the doorway on the floor really kind of brings your attention into what am I doing? Where am I? How am I holding my body? But it's all about being clear. All of these processes are about being clear.
Did you have to leave the mouse trap there?
Oh yeah, well, it wasn't my mouse trap. I couldn't touch it. Some of my beliefs about my ability to give love. Are you a good lover? Can you give love? Betty.
One of the hardest practices is to give love to those that don't love you back.
Right.
It's a really hard lesson because
Right,
you
to
know,
forgive.
we're all coming from that mentality that, you know, if you love someone, they need to love you back in order for you to continue loving them. I've
like loving a child when they're going through teenage years? They don't love you back.
30-year-old.
I hate you. You love them anyway. It's good practice. Good, 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 good. How about your ability to receive love?
That's harder. That is harder.
Giving love can be a means of control. Receiving love, if you're uncomfortable receiving love, but you're really good giving love, consider that you're really manipulative. And that you're controlling. Because what you want to do is you want to be able to accept and receive love from wherever, from the divine, from your neighbor, however, and be able to be okay with that. To not have to perform, to not have to earn it, all of that stuff, just the way you are, I am loved. Who had their hand up? Drew.
Yeah, at one time, I could barely stand to even accept a compliment on something I did, or nice shoes. You know, I wouldn't allow myself, the unworthy self, you know, that self, to be loved. Compliment, yeah, love, I'm working on love there.
Right, and I bet you were broke during that time. Yeah. See that connection?
Well, off and on, but I mean, you know.
How can you accept the universe giving to you just because you're here if you don't feel that you deserve? I open up to receive all the good that is mine now. Oh, but don't compliment me, just this old thing. Oh no, let me tell you about all my problems. Well, what we're doing is we're pushing away our good. And what kind of an undeserving person is in, what kind of a relationship is an undeserving person in?
Well, I was like, if somebody would give me love, I'm like, oh, no, I think you made a mistake, you got the wrong guy.
Or then you owed them.
Yeah, or something, yeah.
Right, right.
It's like, I didn't,
The universe is not tit for tat. The universe is just, we open up to the good that is here. And we do our work to open up, but we're not, the universe is not keeping score on that. It's just constantly trying to give to us because that's the universe giving to itself. And all our job is to open up. But when we go through life going, oh, who paid last time? Well, I guess it's my turn to pay this time, and you did this for me, so I have to do this for you. Oh, we got to go over there. You know, they said that they came over here last time, and so we owe them. That's a very low-level way of being. And if you're in a relationship like that, it's a low-level relationship. So what we want to do is feel perfectly comfortable in our skin, know that we are wonderful, and just hang out in life and accept all of the good that is ours. And the universe will give it to us. Life will show up in greater ways in our experience because we've opened the door bigger, and the door opens inside of us. It's not about working 3 jobs or dating, speed dating. God, that boggles my mind. Okay, I'm going to spend 2 minutes with you and decide if I like you enough to go further, and then I'm going to go to another table and spend 2 minutes with you and decide if I like you. And I'm going to go to another table. Jeez Louise, what pressure. I would much rather just call in my perfect or my person, find me, and let me know it's you in a way I can understand. When John's mother was dating her last husband, he would come over and get her mail out of her house and take the bills home and write checks for them. That was sending a very clear message. Isn't that sweet? He would just come over and get her mail, which is a felony, I know. But he would pay all of her bills.
Well, what if she didn't want that, though?
She did.
That's not accepting the love of the universe.
Beliefs about sex. Beliefs about sex.
That's a belief about sex.
What did you say, Jane?
It was a joke.
But what did you say?
I said I'm a little old for that.
It's what?
Oh,
Now you gotta go.
Just be safe. Be safe. The highest incidence of
That's right.
STDs in this
That's right.
country now is among
That's
retirees.
right.
Yes.
These places like the villages, what I have heard is that they are pot smoking, bed hopping, they're called teenagers.
Where are you
Teenagers, senior teenagers. These areas where just thousands and thousands of retirees come, and they say, well, we've worked, we've raised our family, we're gonna play now. And so they do. The thing is that they're old enough to drink, they have a car, and they get a monthly allowance. So
Pretty hot.
I know the nursing homes are,
Yeah.
you are never too old. But look at our bias against that, and how many of us were taught that sex is dirty, you're not supposed to touch it, you're not supposed to do anything like that. You gotta have the lights out, and it's only for procreation, and forgive me kids, but what is the joke? If sex was really okay, why are kids the punishment? So what is it about pleasure? Are you okay with pleasure? Many of us get a lot of pleasure out of eating. Look at how we eat, and you bring bread, and we've got leftovers, and we just enjoy the pleasure of eating, and that's wonderful. I enjoy the pleasure of the sun. I love the sun on my body. I love to go into the warm water and swim. I love that. I love that. And how are you in other levels of pleasure? How much can you allow yourself to accept pleasure in your life?
I'll take all I can get.
Good, good, good. You know the fried green tomatoes
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
she went and they said, take out your mirror?
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I have to go take my girdle off? You know, this whole thing about you don't know yourself, you don't know what you like, you don't know what someone else likes because you never talk about it. You never are comfortable with it in your own skin. It is, I think, and yes, kids, you're getting an earful, but I think the moment of orgasm is the one time in our life that we are totally connected. Not with somebody, but with the present now moment. We are so in the now, it's a mystical experience. And to be able to let go of you and me and to be in the experience of the presence of God is what I think that sex is about.
Yeah.
Joe.
I was gonna say it's literally life force running through you, and actually there's I've read articles about it to where you can use that to manifest even faster. Like you use it. I haven't.
Well, I know, I used to have a person at the center who said, if I start running low on money, all I have to do is go and have a lot of sex and I'll have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And not because she was getting paid. She had those energies connected and she could manifest just like crazy. And I think part of that is if you can let yourself accept being loved, having pleasure, enjoying your body, then you can allow yourself to accept money in your life. Because it's all tied up together.
I had a teacher once that put your feelings about sex, money, and power were the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
All of them. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. And it all goes to self-worth, to who I am is good enough just the way I am. It goes to being able to open up and accept the good that is ours without having to work long, hard hours and earn it and you know, make ourselves like the classic adult child of an alcoholic. You've got to work 2 or 3 times as much to feel half as worthy as everybody else. And so you have some great overachievers, but they're not happy. So, you know, I just will do my little bit of a spiel, go have some. With someone else, with yourself, have some. Enjoy life. You are perfect and good and whole. And you get to look at it and you get to touch it and again, just be safe. But this was not given to you to be pulled away. This is a good part of life and it's healthy. And to be able to embrace that, I think will open you up to better relationships, to a healthier body, to more money, to having things work out. It's just good for you. Any kind of old idea that says there is anything wrong with you is a lie. It's just a lie. Becky.
I was just gonna say that I think one of the things that curtailed a lot of sexual activity in maybe my generation, the generation immediately before me, is that women weren't allowed to say what they wanted in a sexual relationship. They were like more of a passive, participant. And so that part of the sexual revolution was women saying, hey, this is what I like, could you, and asking for what they want.
Right. Ask for what you want when you want it.
That's real important.
And ask quickly. I always marvel at teachings, I won't just say religions, but teachings that say, you're not supposed to have physical pleasure, you're not supposed to dance, you're not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to do that, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I think the more that we embrace our inherent goodness and wholeness, the better our life will be, and that comes from a basic sense that we are good and whole. Susan?
The color purple.
Right.
Sealy told sugar, or sugar told Sealy. That's some of the best stuff that God ever did make.
Right. Good. So what did you learn through all of this? Everyone feels a little naked, don't they? Yeah. What did you learn from this? Bea?
What I learned is that I really have spent an awful lot of time acting out of way past. And it's been a real shock to me because my intellect always said, oh, you know everything, you know. I had not a clue at some of the things that have been running my life.
Good.
So I'm really, really grateful.
Good. Because you are the thing to run your life. Yes. Joe?
Kind of what Bea said, just be more conscious and aware of not just things I'm saying or what I'm putting inside my brain or my subconscious, but also that I can change it if I want to.
Right.
So
Right.
that's important.
And allow instead of deny. Allow.
I find that I like life a lot better because I like me a lot better and I like things around me so much better.
It's like Jane, just love it all. Love it all and watch how your life gets better. Yes. Who else? What'd you learn? Darcy and then Anna.
I'm proud of myself for taking the initiative to dig deep because it's taken a lot of courage over the years to expose myself, to see, what it is that's holding me back. So I'm always proud when I look back and see where I am now and that I was smart enough and astute enough to make those changes and, to want more for myself, to want to be a better person, to have more, to feel happier. And so I'm proud of myself.
Good for you. Yay. Yay. Anna.
Yeah,
That's great.
instead of focus on the facts, be and practice the truth. ¿Sí?
Sí. Mucho.
Gracias.
Sí. Anybody else? Bea.
I
And then
forgot to
Michael.
tell you one story. As I'm driving around the other day, there was a lady standing in the corner by the thruway with a little sign, every bit will help. And instead of my kicking in with oh, she's poor, oh dear, out of my mouth as I'm driving came, she is wealthy, healthy, and taken care of. And a smile filled my face, and I drove by instead of looking away or any of the other crap. So that was the end of the, that's part of.
That's wonderful. To be able to see everyone's power,
Yes.
everyone's prosperity, everyone's health and wholeness is a reflection of you. And it gives them a big gift. Michael?
Well, somebody, when we first went over the question, was like, well, I don't have any of that. I mean, I'm glad you started over from last week because I left some of them blank because I really felt that way. But then hearing everybody stuff, it's like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I got and I just want to say, especially for Jane, that my grandmother married her third husband. She was like 70. And I was over the house for dinner one night. And I'm like, you guys still have sex? And after she finished blushing, she said, we might be old, but we ain't dead.
Well taken.
Anybody else? That's a good question. Betty?
Oh, I just wanted to say that, you know, recently I've been really trying to discern what some of the blocks are that I've had. And I just couldn't figure it out, so it's really been helpful for me to kind of wedge in there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is why this isn't working out, this is why this isn't working out, and it's really been helpful for me, I appreciate it.
I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. And I don't want to look like a mom.
I never wanted to be a mom.
I don't want to look like they're 12 years old.
Too skinny.
And they don't eat. I want to enjoy life. I want to live life.
I live to eat, not eat to live.
And you know, if I may, that changes. We found, I was busting apart this bathroom, we found old newspapers that they were using for insulation. And there were girdle ads and bra ads, and the chicks in the pictures were heavy, what we would call fat today.
Right.
And this is, so it's like how just these beliefs get so
Right.
perpetuated because
It
of
used to
what's
be
in
that the
paper.
wealthy could afford to put on weight, and that the wealthy never went out in the sun. And then it was,
Fat people were considered,
yeah,
icons.
yeah, that was eye candy.
I think Marilyn Monroe was either a size 14 or 16.
Right. She was.
So let's just be okay with how we are, embrace it, live the way we want to live, say what we want to say, do what we want to do, and keep working on ourselves to be open and to accept all of the good that life has for us just because we're here. Not because of what we've done or what we've accomplished or how we've paid our dues, but just because we are here, we get to have it. It's like the trees out there don't go, well, I don't know if I put out enough acorns this year to be able to accept sunlight today. You know, maybe I shouldn't grow so much this year, because I grew a lot last year. They don't do that. They're just because they're there, they suck it all up. All that they can get, they suck up and they grow, and we call that,
Put it all up.
yeah, and we call that healthy. So, be a tree.
Or a bird.
Or a bird. Take out what you're gonna get. It takes a lot of courage to look at yourselves. So, congratulations. It's a direct assault on the tyranny of the subconscious mind that keeps us bound in limitation. We take it and we jettison it, we cancel it, we throw it away, we open up to the greatness that we are. So in your holding of your good, realize that the entire universe conspires to give to you love, to give you support, to give you money and health and wholeness and opportunity and ideas, that there is an entire universe just giving to you. And so right here, we open to that, we allow it, we accept it. And I know that our money is all part of that, So knowing that as we give, we set spiritual law in motion, Spirit takes that, multiplies it, and gives back to us. We bless this gift. We know that only good can come from it, that wonderful being that we are goes with this gift, no matter where it touches, to the center, into the bank account, out into the world. That this is all God giving to God, giving to God. And we open up to all of the bounty of life. We know that every one of us who comes together this night comes to help make this center all that it was ever meant to be. It is a place of peace, a beacon of light, a tower of strength, and a fountain of wisdom that touches the lives of all who call it home. And so it is.
So it is.
Just breathe it in. Filled full to overflowing. Blessing after blessing after blessing. Money, pleasure, love, sex, good vibes, power, all of that, filling us, filled full to overflowing. And the more that we open, the more that we get. The more that we get, the more that shows up in our lives. So we open. We say yes. We have always deserved to have the very best. We have always deserved to be loved. We have always deserved to live this amazingly wonderful, blessed life. And so I know that everything in these baskets is blessed, that whatever we give, that which we are goes with our gift. So God as us, Spirit as us, love as us, went forth with this giving. I see it as a golden light that fills up this room from the floor to the ceiling and all between the walls. This air is rich and blessed with God as us. And as Spirit moves in our lives, it touches us. It opens us. It blesses us. It heals us. And then because you can't keep it in one place, out it goes around the world to touch, to open, to bless, and to heal. Every being on this planet, always here and always now, touching everyone who has ever been here and everyone yet to come. And so it is. I love you guys. Have a wonderful night.